All right. Hello, Wizardians, and welcome back to a gameplay stream today with Vytis, the Law Master, and myself. We've got some really exciting things to have a chat about as well. So we'll be looking at some new or some old art, as well as some conceptive designs and all sorts of things like that. But to get things started, Vytis, would you mind giving a little introduction for anyone who doesn't know you?
Yeah, hey, I'm Vytis. I'm responsible for lore behind Wizardia and for mostly the stories and character backgrounds. Yeah, hi.
So obviously you're the man behind the myth, the creative person behind Wizardia.
Yeah, that kind of explains what I do. Yeah.
That's super exciting. I mean, I've been lucky enough to see some footage from 2011 till now. Have you been around for the whole time?
No, I joined midway, I think 4-ish years ago, something like that.
Okay. So from your point of view, how have things changed from when you first started to now?
It changed a lot. Like the whole world that we eventually ended up publishing, not building, but publishing, is radically different from what was initially imagined. Like we pivoted hardly from dual uh, conflict to something that's more balanced. So we're aiming at any given time, our world has a conflict between three sides. So that's a major pivot that we did. And then everything else followed, like the whole universe that we're currently having. It's based on that three-sided conflict. Yeah,
The
that doesn't sound. Yeah, sorry.
and the entire universe was of Wizardia was built on that.
Kinda, yeah. Like this
Okay.
is a kind of a major spoiler, I guess. But I'll stop talking about it further so I don't blurb out anything too important. But
Okay.
the idea, yeah, the idea is that in the development of the mythology that we have and the stories that we had this pivot moment where we said that some things must be new in our world, and that was the magic. And then we decided, well, in order to keep balance between things, let's just add a third, not like add a third side to everything, but keep the worldview in a way that it's not never two-sided. Like there's always somebody who breaks the balance in any way. Like it's like the concept that we are currently aiming at is to keep everything without a stable balance point. That's why
Okay.
this idea kind of works.
Okay. Well, that's super exciting. Almost got to reveal a little secret there. And
Sorry.
obviously, coming straight from the creator of universes, Vetus himself, it's really cool to put in the bank. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can actually do in the future. And perhaps everyone in the audience as well, I certainly would like to know a little bit more about where you actually draw your audience from. Or, sorry, where you actually draw your inspiration from.
I don't know. I actually don't know. Like um I think it's hard to tell a single point, but right now we have the benefit of consuming a lot of media, and that media is accessible to basically everyone, and you can basically bathe yourself in different ideas and different views. And for me, that eventually boils down to having something that presumably is unique, though I imagine it's just a mishmash of stolen ideas. So, yeah, I guess that's my inspiration. Stealing. Yeah, stealing is my inspiration.
Well, so maybe not so much stealing as borrowing and sharing ideas.
Yeah, borrowing.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's always one of the most fun things to discuss is where the inspiration comes from and how the story develops from and then onwards. But what I'd actually like to do now is show an old trailer from 2011, and maybe we can share. You can share a few of your ideas on what the trailer was like then to how the game is now, which is just coming through. And we should be able to go.
There is a world divided in two by the treasures that dwell in its heart. And for the one chosen to be strongest, eternal life and glory awaits. Kingdoms will have to be built, armies raised, magic weapons crafted, and battles won. Step into the land of wizards and become the chosen one. Challenge your friends and foes from around the world to gain the ultimate glory. Participate in elite tournaments for the chance to gain exclusive weaponry. Take to the streets and fight your in-game enemies in a real-world environment with your smartphone. Track and engage your foes and defeat them to collect fabulous rewards. Hold your breath and step into the world of Wizardia.
So there you go. Like literally over 10 years ago. How do you feel Wizardia has changed and from then until now?
I think, like, from the surface, it seems like these are two different games. But in general, we just revamped what was a target of, like, the initial target of this whole universe. From the get-go, it was aiming to encapsulate multiple different playstyles, like the whole idea that you have a strategy game, the combat game, and the AR augmented, companion or a subset of the game in the AR space. That was alive from the very first pitch that was done, all the way back in whatever time that was. I think Mendogas and Thomas were the ones that pitched those things. So those things are still alive in today's Wizardia, and they're at the core of what the gameplay loop should look like. The story, though, pivoted a lot, as I said, from two-sided to three-sided approach. I think that's a major change, and that was basically a rewrite of whatever we had. So yeah, that changed.
Overhaul.
Yeah. From other stuff, the tournaments, the plan to have tournaments, the primarily PvP oriented, not design, but experience, PvP oriented experience is still at the core of Wizardia to this day. So apparently not that much apart from art and lore. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You've come in, rewritten the lore and built on it, which I think looks really cool. And overall, are you impressed with what you've been able to build and the lore and the reward for the effort that you've put in?
I don't know if I can be impressed by my own stuff, so no.
Okay. Yeah, so you're always your own worst critic. So
yeah, I mean, I'm the most skilled at it. Nobody else spends that much effort to criticize me.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, we'll just have to wait and see as Wizardia grows and as new elements get released, how you feel and how it all grows in future. And so far in Wizardia, we've explored many different areas with the wizards, the player versus player, player versus environment. But something we haven't seen a great deal of is creatures. Now, creatures, are these one of your ideas or is this something that someone else floated around?
Depending on which you show, but most of them are mine. We collaborated with the artists in the team to make them visually existing. I would say, like, writing a little sentence is not enough to make a creature alive. So I usually spend hours and hours with artists talking about different ways that a particular idea should take shape. One thing that may be unclear is, why are we creating creatures in the first place? Since now we actually have a firm understanding, or at least I have a firm understanding of what the world of Wizardia looks like and what are the primary problems in this new world, there is a whole set of difficulties that entities in Wizardia must overcome. And those difficulties may from time to time be defined as monsters or creatures, though
Okay.
there are many more problems that arise within the lore. So when we will release the PvE experience, I hope we'll have an opportunity to sneak in not only creature-based enemies, and I mean, again, this is a bit of a spoiler. I hope that the game will not boil down to a simple, I deal damage to an enemy and it dies, but I hope that it will become a bit more nuanced, that you can actually, have problems overcoming enemies, not only just by in-game mechanics, but maybe they're a bit more than a picture on the screen. Maybe they're more terrifying or more like provocative to thought or something like that. But that's my hope. I mean, that's my hope. So I can't promise on that.
Okay. Well, it's nice to learn more about them. And you did say that depending on the creature is depending on whether or not it's your creation. So I'm going to start off by sharing one particular creature, and you can let me know a little bit more about it. We've got the shimmering butterflies. Is this one of your grand designs?
Yeah, this is one of mine, and the people from the art team, like they made the visuals. I just guided them through, and this was actually weirdly, it was not as if created, but it was spotted. Like when we received initial drawings for the core for the currently known piece of land in Wizardia, I had a question: what's that shimmering there? And then it spawned an idea that it can actually be a creature, which is a nuisance throughout the whole Wizardia. So this is that. These are creatures which adapted from previous life in the vast openness of space to this new fog delimited world, and then now working as these parasites and spreading throughout Wizardia. So the current idea is that they will become one of the more common and maybe weaker enemies if encountered alone, and then their swarms are something to be reckoned with, and they will be a recurring problem that players will have to deal with when traveling through Wizardia.
Well, they look interesting. I'm not sure about their size. You can see just above the brief description that they're quite big. So
there's a human drawn. Like you see the shape of a human.
I'm quite happy
They're
that
not
they're
small.
staying in the Wizardia world and they're not flying around outside. They'd be quite terrifying to see.
Yeah, they are not aggressive, though. They are scavengers of metallic components. They technically do not pose harm to any biological creatures unless you have metal
unless
in your
you've got
bones.
guns of steel.
Yeah, exactly. And they are aiming to deal with and be parasites on those creatures that have metal in their carcasses.
Okay.
Which is the second part that we actually have in Wizardia, but we will not show any art for it. No, not yet.
Okay. Well, I know that there's still a lot to be decided with our characters and our creatures, but maybe can you tell me a little bit about their wings? Because I've got another picture here with a few different variations, which look really cool. Perhaps you can explain if they mean something different or a little bit more about what we see now.
Yeah, so the color of the wings, at least by my design, was determined by what kind of metal they're burning inside their internal furnaces. So the wings are actually exhaust fumes, kind of the exhaust particles from the furnaces within these creatures.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they have these magnetic appendages that are not visible on the outside of the shell, which actually control these exhaust clouds, and they propel themselves by, well, not by flapping them. They're more like a rocket. They
Yeah,
they
yeah.
flap them just because, like, the flapping is a side effect of them not being able to fly anymore. And
Okay.
these butterflies, they kind of work like real butterflies. That's why they are named butterflies instead of something else. These creatures that you see on screen right now are only hosts to new larvas. Like, they don't serve any function at all. They are unable to eat at this stage. They're unable to do anything, just to spread the larvas that they have inside. And the color from emanating from the inside, it's not actually their digestive tract, it's the larvas that are eating them from the inside, and the exhaust fumes are just a side effect.
Wow, it's incredible to hear about the amount of thought and efforts that's gone behind them to be able to put a whole story to them, because I think they look really, really cool, and something
Yeah, they're
Dixon's
cool.
actually, sorry?
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
Yeah, and something Dixon's actually pointed out, which he's got a good point here. And you say that these butterflies are somewhat useless, but yeah, Dixon says they are scavengers of metal components. What does this mean for S?
Well, she should fend them off. That's for sure.
Okay,
Like, the good,
yes,
the
I'll
good,
let
the
you
good.
know to get in
Yeah,
trouble.
the good part is that they're scavengers, not hunters. So they're relatively easy to deal with, and they don't pose much of a threat if you can move. But if you're a planet-sized object which has metal at its core, you're not so good.
Yeah, then we might be in a bit of trouble. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that one was a bit of a nice looking creature in terms of, or in comparison to the next one I'm about to show. Um, this one is called Rage. So give me one moment to share my screen. And this is seemingly an early design here, but can you walk us through a little bit about this? And I can show a more updated photo afterwards.
Yeah. So the first creature that we saw, it's a category of creatures which presumably exist in the universe. They just have their own place in the ecosystem, and when the calamity struck, the ecosystem was broken, and some of the creatures became better or worse depending on that. So those are more natural like creatures. This, what you have right here, is echoes of low magic in the fog. So in general, the idea was that fog is the bearer of magic power in this universe, and having such a reactive substance will produce some side effects from stuff. I will not explain more deeply into what the stuff can be,
Okay.
but this is the representation of emotion. And yeah, it takes a physical form in Wizardia, and it echoes back from the fog onto the dwelling or onto the area within the fog that produced this creature. Or maybe it got lost in the fog, and then it just wanders until it gets out and attacks whatever it can. So there is a whole range of creatures that we have designed, and some of them we already have concepts for. So rage is just one of them. There is hunger. There is the one that I think you got a picture for should be attention, or
Yeah.
lack of attention. I don't remember how it's called. Like the feeling of neglect. I think neglect, that was the name for it. So yeah, there's a lot of creatures that stem from this core idea that emotions or experiences spin out something real in the fog, or at least tangible in the
So
fog.
this is
And
all
then
stuff
they,
that could come into place in future with AR and mobile stuff, down the line.
yeah,
Okay.
that's why we're creating these creatures. That's why we're building a world around them, and their reasoning why they exist and so forth.
Well, Vytis, if I'm going to be completely honest here, it sounds like you're just trying to give little kids nightmares, and people like me nightmares with
Yes.
these monsters you create. They're terrifying.
I think we got this. Like we should be perfectly clear. This is a game for adults to get scared. So taxes will be one of the monsters in the universe, most probably and
Yeah,
most definitely.
well, we definitely want to grow our player base, and with things like that, is definitely not going to help. But the next gun I'm going to release, it looks fairly similar to what we just saw, but a lot more, developed, and it looks really cool. And it's called a creature. So maybe you can tell us more about this one.
Yeah,
And
this is the
again,
attention seeker. The thing that I just told you about. How I called it? Not despair, but
neglect.
lack of attention, neglect. Yeah, this is the code name neglect. It's currently named attention seeker, but it basically reflects somebody's desire to be seen, and then it turns up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is the concept art for them.
Well, I mean, looking at this, I'm being transported back to Alien versus Predator, except Alien has a Predator has a mutant dog, and that's Predator's mutant dog chasing me around.
Yeah, which is the problem is that you're chasing this one.
Oh, thank God. That's not a problem.
That is a
much
problem because
rather,
you're so captivated by it yet that you can't stop chasing it. That's the
okay. Well, yeah,
gimmick
attention
behind it.
seeker.
Yeah, it makes you captivated by it, and then you eventually expire.
Okay. Well, I really like the whole idea behind that, and I was really happy to see some of these creatures, and I think they're going to make a really cool addition to Wizardia in the future. And the last one is something that we've probably seen before, but it does have a little bit more about what it might look like if one day creatures entered the arena. So you can see we have like a terrifying T-Rex with soul-bound ring type things around him. But what's the concept here?
This T-Rex doesn't have a backstory, though. It was a placeholder taken out from another art, unfortunately. But the idea was that we plan, I think, still plan to have a PvE battles, which bind the story a little, like, or move the story a little bit further, so it's clear for the players how come, like, there are wizards and why they're not always overpowered, because there are enemies in the fog that, from time to time, wreak havoc on whatever is surrounded by it. So yeah, this is the presumably placeholder art for any danger that comes out of the fog, and this was the concept on how we are imagining the fights should happen, like the interaction between players and the PvE elements in the first stage of the game. We have more ideas for now, but yeah.
Well, I think it'll be quite fun. It's a whole new element, even though it's a placeholder. I like being able to see S at the front, Oleg and Tar as well. I think overall, so far, Tar is my favorite.
Cool.
Now, that kind of wraps us up on the creatures. Other than creatures, there are two more elements I'd like to really explore with you whilst we're lucky enough to have you. And the first one is profits. Tell me, is this your idea? Is this your invention?
Yeah, it is. This also belongs to the fog spawn category, which is, as I said, something of a reflection from other intellectual or conscious beings being trapped in the fog. And prophets are made from unrelenting belief, or a side effect of faith. And prophets,
Side effect of faith.
yeah, and prophets, like in my lore, they happen to have a hierarchy of sorts, and you could, as a wizard or a group of wizards, technically imagine a god into existence, and a god would fall into prophet category. So this is just a low-level god, I guess, that comes out of the fog to serve your to fulfill your faith. So you may attract these creatures by hoping for the best, but eventually they come in and feed on your beliefs, like
Okay.
basically make you into a cult and then consume you.
Okay. So, I never actually looked too far into this image, and it's the first time I've noticed it's less human than I realized, and that it's more of a creature or a bug, like a crustacean almost.
I don't remember adding any crustacean things. These, I think, are very soft or even ethereal appendages. But the idea
Ah,
is that they must resemble a human because they are easily treated as prophets of God. That's why the name
mhm.
comes. And when they enter a society or a fraction of a society that lives surrounded by the fog, they're usually greeted with, well, trust, or in like the trust is something that they give to the community that they enter. Like it's supernatural in a way. And then when the community is being lulled by them, they eventually consume the whole community. So this is essentially a parasite on conscious beings. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it'll be interesting to see the impact that these will have. Do you think that they'll ever make their way into the arena or wander about the fog, picking on anyone who comes too close?
I think it's easy for them to enter into arena, and in the arena they will be less of an hard enemy. They will be more of a nuisance. But their biggest problem is, or their biggest target is to be a really complicated enemy in the city builder or the base builder stage, where they are more or less a really tangible threat to the population because they can alter, like, or either steal or convert or devour your population on the island that you control. So yeah, they are planned to be more of a nuisance for the second stage. But yeah, of course they can be in arena. They have psychotic powers, so why the hell not?
Exactly right. Well, it'll be a good way to mix it up. And between all the three creatures, or the prophet, the butterflies, and rage, which one is your personal favorite, or would you like to see the most actually in the game?
What do you mean? I would like to see. We will see all of them in the game, and there's plenty more coming in. Like they're, I mean, I'm creating them, and I'm creating them a lot. I mean, that's my job.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I
Well,
mean,
there
I'm
you go, everyone
doing
who's listening. We've got some awesome things to come, which I'm really, really looking forward to. And to move on from creatures, I know we've just touched a little bit there, but I've got a few images with some buildings as well, which isn't something we've really seen in the Wizardia world, or in alpha version. Maybe you can explain a little bit more about what we see here.
Yeah, these were early sketches of how an arena could look like. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, we eventually decided that we will have neither of them because of implementation problems.
hmm
But these concept arts are still valid in the sense that they do represent shards of previous civilization floating around somewhere in the universe. And they, from my perspective, do really exist in the depicted manner. And my
okay.
assumption is that when we actually have the base building or the city building part of the game, that there will be a way for players to maybe not, create something similar, but at least play with imagination a bit and have in their minds something similar crossing the vast closeness of the fog.
Okay. Well, I love the fact that we can kind of keep it all, even if it's not actively being used or if it's been changed, to still have it and build it as part of, Wizardia's history, or Wizardia's, future, even, or present, however you want to say it.
Hmm.
But I do quite like that one. The next one is I've included this one because I'm not quite sure what it is. And I feel like it could be a giant drill or earth-shattering machine or something.
These were the early sketches of the vault. I don't remember if we ever talked about the vault. I think we didn't. So let's just say this was part of the game that got rejected after quite a bit of talking and analyzing. And then eventually this ended up being a background in some of our, desktops, I guess.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to have had that explanation because I found that one yesterday and I was quite curious. But I do really appreciate you running us through everything that you've been able to design and introduce us to a few new or relatively untouched aspects for our community. But from here, I think we should play a game of player versus player, give the community something to look at to see what they came for and how the Lore Master actually fares in the arena. What about you?
Well, okay, you're the one that invited me here.
All right. Now, while we're picking teams, I'm going to share another video of like an old trailer or an old gameplay type trailer from many years ago of Wizardia as well. Okay. So here we go. And while that's playing, we can pick our teams.
I came prepared.
All right. Well, give me one moment. I'm going to see how we can go. And what are you thinking of the trailer?
It represents the early ideas that we had. Not me personally, but the team behind the initial game, like the arena, the base building, and yeah. And I think this is it for this particular trailer. Like with the resources that we have now, we can do way better job of, visualizing and implementing things. So that's
Absolutely
good, I guess.
It's interesting to be able to make a comparison between, our trailer now, our gameplay footage now, ideas that we're floating out about now, and even our wizards to what they were when Wizardia first came about. So you can even see back in the day, there's a lot of emphasis put around the wizards and around the characters. So I think that was quite fun to be able to share with the community, and I hope they got to enjoy that little trailer as well. Now, without further ado, are you ready to play?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1, start game. And I will come back and share the magic. There we go. You're up first, I believe. You have a very good-looking team. Do you want to walk us through your strategy or walk us through why you've chosen these wizards? Or leave it till the end of the match?
I'll prefer leaving it to the end of the match because that's part of informing the enemy of what you're doing is.
I was hoping to get an unfair advantage, but too smart for me, Vytis.
Unfortunately.
All right. Okay, straight for the big boy. Well, I'm going to go for the obvious, try and do as much damage as I can, as quickly as I can. Now, I actually chose Sering because Mind absolutely loves Sering. He thinks he's a very strong wizard, very handy to have.
I actually don't know about strength wizards and their, ranks presumably. I keep myself a bit away from the game development.
Well, I suppose you're creating an entire universe. You probably don't have too much time to get too far into the depth of things.
Yeah, that's also.
Well, it looks like you've chosen a fairly elite team.
What do you mean? No, they're all rares, I think.
No, I mean like a good combination.
Well,
They seem to
perhaps.
be very damaging.
We'll see. We'll see in a moment if it works or not.
Well, there he is. Oh, 2 in a row. That's annoying, but let's see what we can do. And there we go. Back to an evil playing field.
We'll see.
Still got Big Tar in the background. Oh. So we're gonna have to go like this, I reckon. Do a bit of a heal. Still no good. And you've got a double.
Yeah, and I think I made a horrible mistake by being very greedy. I wanted to see if I can get more points by bringing a lot of healing potions.
Just trying to rub it in, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh well. I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do. Come in, make a good impression, walk away with the crown for the gameplay stream.
Sorry, I misheard you over the sound effects. What?
Yeah, I was just saying it's good to be able to come in, stamp your authority as the king of the gameplay stream.
Yeah, I assume so.
Now I can see there it is. Congratulations, Vytis. You are the winner.
Did my healing potions help me anyhow? No, it did not.
You can see I got 0 points. How many points did you get?
217.
Not too bad. Good job. Now I can see in the comments here as well, Grasu has said, what really changed meanwhile that you've gone from the initial concept to where you are today? I think in terms of lore, you're definitely best to answer that one.
Well, in terms of lore, we changed everything. We basically started from initial understanding of what conflict do we need in the universe to make it reasonably attractive and to make a gameplay out of it. Then we changed the balance of the whole universe to have at least 3 distinct opposition forces at any given time. And then we changed the source of the conflict. Initially, it was somebody else came into the world and made everything crap. And now we've changed it to we are making it crap and we're going to fix it.
Okay. Well, it's a very honest way to take the approach, and I'm glad with all the changes that have been made because I think it looks awesome, and I think either game would have been fun to play, and to see the development come through is really, really exciting. As for a more technical standpoint, I think we can leave that for a later time with Mind. He'd be an expert to take care of that. But thank you very much for your question, Grasu. If there's anything else you guys would like to know as we're running through this, please feel free to leave a message in the comments. In the meantime, how do you feel about round 2?
Oh, I need to press a few buttons then. All right, let's try that. I will give you one. I will not pick anything in terms of the team, and then you'll get.
All right. Well, I'm ready to click it. So 3, 2, 1, go. And let's see how we go with round 2. I chose a character I don't choose too often. I went with Oleg instead of Tar. But it's nice I get a bit of a start, and I'm going straight off with all of enemies attack.
let's see what I have here. I have Amin. And what shall I do? I shall do this.
All right, I see how it's going to be. I'm going to drop some more bombs. Take as much of the team out as I can, as quickly as I can.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Soul is going to go against a Mind Wizard, so I'm going to go straight for Chikara. All right, we're running low on health now. You are.
Let's see, what I can do now to make this go in my favor. I think I should do this.
I thought you would have gone for a heal, but that was really unfortunate for me.
Heals are in due time.
When necessary, hey?
Yes.
Well, I will return the favor.
Problem.
Well, Chikara, I quite like her. I think she's got a lot of strength.
Hmm.
But, you know the old saying, when it rains, it pours. And right now we're raining magic.
Well, good game, I guess.
I think so. It's nice to get one back, but with an unfair advantage, you didn't exactly choose a team.
It's fine. Like, random team is not something that should win, I assume.
Well, exactly right. It is quite hard, quite important to choose a good strategy. And I think we've got time enough for one more game to finish the stream off. Best of 3 to see who takes away the overall crown for the week, hey?
All right. All right.
All right. So take your time to choose your wizards and your consumables. I will have a look too. And feel free to choose epics or legendaries and show a little bit of all the wizards that are actually coming out.
Okay. 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 I'll try to do that. This is not interesting. Where is this? Okay, I'm done.
All right. 3, 2, 1, start. And now let's make it happen. Okay, so I'm up first. I have Oleg, Sering, and Crystal. I'm going for quite a... and I forgot... No, he has a different potion. I almost ruined my strategy on the first move. Okay. Good moves. I'm really enjoying having a team of 3 wizards that can attack 3 wizards at once.
Yeah, but apparently your composition was slightly more better than I picked. It's your turn, though. You can finish the game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfair. But maybe we'll try one more, and I'll go for all rares this time instead. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't think so. At least not that much, does it?
I think they have a little bit of extra. No, they level up faster. So no, they wouldn't have made too much impact that. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it was quite fun. When you said there was a kind of advantage or so, or a different composition, do you want to walk me through what you mean by that?
Well, I had two soul visits, and if I remember correctly, your body, what was your body one? Yeah, no, yes.
No, I had Sering.
Oh yeah, Tsering. So the attack from Tsering basically wiped half of the team HP off. That was
Yeah.
the painful point for me.
That one turned out to be quite a lucky choice, but um, unfortunately, not so much for you. How would you have been able to play, or what was your strategy if I didn't have the advantage of the affinity there?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Like the initial idea that I had was to focus my souls on your mind visits, but since it was more beneficial to go with attack all, that may not have been the smartest decision. I think I should have focused out the third visit in your composition so that you skipped a turn.
Okay. Well, I would have liked to have seen it a little bit more, but we have run out of time. My strategy for that particular match was something I don't think Mind likes too much, but it was just all damage. Strategy's never been my strong suit, so this is going to be my new team of wizards for the next time I play Mind, and we'll see how we go. But
All right.
other than that, thanks heaps for coming today, Vytis. It was great to play against you and dig into some lore and some characters. Everyone who's here, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, hit the notification bell, and we'll be able to catch up with you in the next stream.
All right. Bye.